Hello, and welcome to the Rules Explainer / Archetype Guide for Commander Legends Rise of the Dice Friends, a totally legit set of Magic the Gathering. Don't check that, just trust me. I'm your host, Nick the DM, and I'm here to help explain what exactly you've signed up for. Now, we have a lot to cover in this video, so if you're only here for a particular part, feel free to jump to the time codes currently listed on screen or in the description below. Alright, cool. First things first, let's go over the new and returning mechanics. Since this cube uses a total of 140 mechanics from throughout Magic's history, it is not remotely practical to go over all of them in detail. Most of the more obscure ones include reminder text whenever practical, but don't hesitate to call a judge or event organizer if there's a mechanic you don't remember the rules for. That being said, here's a list of every mechanic we've included that isn't getting separately explained. Adapt, Adventures, Affinity, Afflict, Aftermath, Ascend / the City's Blessing, Backgrounds, Backup, Battalion, Battlecry, Battles, Behold, Blitz, Blood, Bushido, Cases, Casualty, Celebration, Changeling, Flash, Cloak, Collect Evidence, Colorless Mana Cards, Completed, Connive, Constellation, Convoke, Corrupted, Cumulative Upkeep, Cycling, Decay, Delirium, Detain, Dethrone, Dice Rolling, Discover, Disguise, Disturb, Eerie, Emerge, Encore, Enrage, Escape, Evoke, Exalted, Exploit, Explore, Extort, Flashback, Flurry, Fortify, Fuse, Gift, Goad, Heroic, Historic, Improvise, Infect, Investigate, Junk, Kicker, Kinship, Landwall, Learn, Legendary Sorceries, Living Metal, Madness, Manifest Dread, Map Spell, Melee Mentor, Miracle, Modified Morph, Motivate, Multi-Kicker, Mutate, Offspring, Outlaws, Parlay, Resist, Phasing, Brexy Mana, Plot, Populate, Proliferate, Protection, Provoke, Prowess, Prowl, Rad Counters, Regenerate, Revolt, Rolls, Rooms, Saddle, Sagas, Scavenge, Shadow, Skulk, Snow Mana, Soulbomb, Spectacle, Split Second, Squad, Starter Engines, Storm, Survival, Suspect, Suspend, Tempting Offer, the Monarch, the Untapped Symbol, Toxic, Training, Transform, Transmute, Traps, Tribute, Type Cycling, Undying, Vanishing, Voting, and Wither. You got all that? Don't worry about it. Let's move on to the really juicy stuff. As any good adventurer would tell you, it's dangerous to go alone. So why not travel with a Dice Friend? Dice Friend is a new mechanic introduced in this cube. Dice Friend means you can have two commanders if both are Dice Friends or have ready to run. Functionally, this is a grouped form of partner, similar to the Friends Forever cards. Some effects care about cards that are a Dice Friend. A card is a Dice Friend if it has the keyword Dice Friend. Simple as that. As a side note, cards with Dice Friend can be your commander, even if they would not typically be eligible without it. This usually won't come up, but there is a single vehicle and a single equipment that are valid Dice Friend choices. Remember, just like normal partner, your deck can include any cards with a combined color identity of your two commanders. Also, once the game begins, your two commanders are tracked separately. If you cast one, the other does not cost 2 generic mana more to cast. Came in with a plan, but couldn't quite find a commander in your colors? Well, Friend Computer is always there for you. At the end of the draft, you may add up to 2 copies of Friend Computer to your draft pool. You do not have to draft these cards. They can be added to your deck in the same way as basic lands. Friend Computer is a lot like the Prismatic Piper, but can be up to 2 colors, so it should be very simple to make those 3 or even 4 color dreams work. Any commander worth their salt knows that an army marches on their stomach, and this new land type is here to help. Restaurant is a new non-basic land type. Restaurants do not have any special rules baggage associated with the type, but a number of cards will refer to them directly, much like gates or caves. Undead is a new game term that refers to any card with the skeleton, spirit, vampire, wraith, or zombie creature types. Undead is not a creature type. If an effect asks you to choose a creature type, you can't choose Undead. A card, spell, or permanent is undead if it has the skeleton, spirit, vampire, wraith, or zombie creature type. It doesn't matter what other types it has. As long as it has at least one of those types, it is undead. A creature that is Phyrexian, was returned from the graveyard, or is otherwise just plain spooky in some way, is not automatically undead. All the game cares about are those 5 creature types. On the other side of things, living is a term that means a creature that is not undead and not an artifact. Non-creature cards and permanents cannot be living, even if they have a creature type. This does also mean that all changelings are technically not living. I hope someone broke the news gently. You've heard of the group Hug deck, maybe even the group Slug deck, but get ready for the secret third option, the group Drug deck. Hope you packed your bags, folks, since everyone is going on a trip. Mushroom is a new enchantment subtype introduced in Rise of the Dice Friends, primarily on enchantment tokens. A mushroom token is a colorless enchantment with 3, sacrifice this enchantment, exile cards to the top of your library until you exile a non-land card. put a spore counter on that card, then create a copy of it. You may cast the copy without paying its mana cost. Activate only as a sorcery. All cards exiled with the effect of a mushroom stay in exile, including any lands, but only the card that is copied gets a spore counter put on it. Some effects refer to cards in exile as spore counters, so have your copy tokens ready if you're going to be handing out the shrooms. Also, as a reminder, a copy of a permanent spell enters as a token when it resolves. Hey, ever seen that movie Alien? Ever thought to yourself, man, I really wish that awful reproductive cycle was reflected on my Magic the Gathering cards? No? Well, that's unfortunate. Incubate Alien N means create an Alien Incubator Kindred Artifact token with N +1/+1 counters on it, and 2. Transform this artifact. It transforms into a 0/0 colorless alien creature. This is very similar to the Incubate mechanic from March of the Machine, but differs in 2 major ways. The first is that the front face of the Incubator is a Kindred artifact, meaning it has the alien creature type from the moment it enters the battlefield. The other difference is that the creature side of the token is not an artifact. Otherwise, it should feel pretty familiar. 8 years after it was first introduced, Last Strike has finally arrived at the party. Took it long enough. Technically a returning mechanic, Last Strike was only ever printed on 2 cards in the silver-bordered expansion Unstable, so let's go over what it is. Last Strike means this creature deals combat damage after creatures without Last Strike. Much like with First Strike, creatures with Last Strike do not deal damage at the same time as normal creatures, only afterwards. If the creature has both First Strike and Last Strike, they do not cancel. Instead, it deals combat damage before and after normal combat damage. If it has Double Strike and Last Strike, then it deals damage during normal combat damage as well, for a total of 3 instances of damage. Did I hear someone say niche mechanics last printed in Unstable? Well, Frenzy is back, and it's hangrier than ever. Frenzy is a triggered ability that makes your creatures more dangerous to ignore. Frenzy N means, whenever this creature attacks and isn't blocked, it gets +N+0 until end of turn. An ability that triggers when something attacks and isn't blocked triggers in the Declare Blocker step after blockers are declared if 1. That creature is attacking, and 2. No creatures are declared to block it. It will trigger even if that creature was put onto the battlefield attacking rather than having been declared as an attacker in the Declare Attacker step. Renown is back after being first introduced in Magic Origins, the core set that was pretending not to be a core set. Not much has changed in the intervening decade, huh? Renown N means, when this creature deals combat damage to a player, if it isn't renowned, put a +1/+1 counter on it, and it becomes renowned. A creature being renowned does not have any specific game mechanics, but it can be referred to by effects. Renown won't trigger when a creature deals combat damage to a planeswalker, another creature, or a battle. It also won't trigger when a creature deals non-combat damage to a player. If a Renown ability triggers, but the creature leaves the battlefield before that ability resolves, the creature doesn't become renowned. Any ability that triggers whenever a creature becomes renowned won't trigger. And that concludes our review of the mechanics. Remember, this is a silly format with fan-made cards. Not everyone is going to know every rule, and that's okay. If anything weird comes up, discuss it with the table, or call a judge or event organizer. Also, maybe tell me on Blue Sky or Twitter if I messed up some wording, or just to show me sick interactions. I'm at NickTheDM there as well. Next, let's talk about the format the cube is meant to be played with, Commander Draft. This draft format varies from a traditional draft in 3 ways. Firstly, your deck should be a total of 60 cards, including your commander, or commanders, rather than the regular 40. Your constructed deck must have a commander, and be within that commander's color identity. Your commander is typically a legendary creature, or a pair of legendary permanents with Dice Friend, as was described in the section on new and returning mechanics. Technically, the rules of Commander state that the deck has to be singleton, but as there are no duplicate cards in the cube, it shouldn't come up. Packs of this cube have 20 cards in them, and you pick 2 cards at a time. Remember, this means that at a normal table of 8, only the final 4 cards of each pack will have wheeled. After the draft, Players will then split off into 4-player pods and play a typical 40-life commander free-for-all. The exact composition of these pods will be randomized, so you never know who at your table will be your opponent. Keep this in mind as you draft. Now, the cast of characters in Dice Friends campaigns are a colorful bunch, and so this cube is extremely heavily multicolored. The expected play pattern is that you're going to end up in a 3 or even 4-color deck. The Dice Friend mechanics and Friend computer will help you get a commander for the color identity you want to play, but what other cards should you keep an eye out for? Luckily, we've built in a set of 10 3-color archetypes that might help guide your draft. You're not obligated to play that strategy if you play those colors, or play those colors if you play that strategy. But it's a good thing to keep an eye out for as you build your deck. Let's go through the archetypes for this set. Are you the type of person who reads the last page first? Then green, white, blue spoilers might be right for you. Use cards like Bola's Nina of Many Lives to stack the top of your deck with Scry and Surveil events, then cash them in with Discover, Explore, and other mechanics that care about what is coming up. Remember to keep an eye out for both cards that manipulate your deck and cards that can capitalize on that control. Either effect works in isolation, but in concert they are both much stronger. Nice library you got there. Be ashamed of something happened to it. White-blue-black suite of mind-melting effects churn through cards like they're late for a flight. Use them aggressively to deck your opponents, or utilize cards like @Frankie #content creator and Dr. Helena Simpson to capitalize on your own rapidly dwindling stack of cards. Just be careful, because targeting an opponent may enable them to try the same graveyard shenanigans, and targeting yourself could cost you the game if you fly too close to the card draw sun. Is everyone feeling hungry? Because Red, Green, White brought enough food and restaurants to share with the class. Chow down on life gain while still having the artifact tokens to spare for effects like Food Fight Fixer or Mr. Sausage to help close out the game. Keep a special eye out for the cycle of junk food mana rocks, as they're some of the only non-token food available in the draft. Keep that board state thick and your life total thicker, and you should be able to grind out your opponents. Just be careful not to eat too much poison. Hope you've got your Infinite tokens ready, because Green, Red, Black is going to be putting them to work. Bury your opponents in value as you create more and more incidental advantages, then cash them in with cards like Studio C to start throwing haymakers. There are a lot more token producers than direct payoffs, so keep an eye out for cards that leverage whatever kind of token you think that you'll be making the most of. Cloaked and disguised, this deck is full of mysterious creatures. If your favorite part of Magic is the mind games, Blue, Black, Red is the strategy for you. Get cards into play face down through Disguise or Cloak, then turn them face up for extra effects. Most of the cards that care about being flipped face up also care about leaving the battlefield, so flicker effects and any recursion would be at a premium, especially with cards like Veus, Bit of a Shit, who can recycle your disguises. Red, White, Black is out for blood, literally and figuratively. Undead creatures in this set don't always have a lot in common, but they're often really good at applying board pressure. Keep putting aggressive creatures into play, and your opponents will be stuck on the back foot as cards like Reverend Brother Sweetwater stir up trouble and wear away at their resources. Keep an eye out for cards like the Dark World Runner and Rite of Progeny that can keep your momentum rolling or get you more value per card. Are you ready to rumble? Well, that's a Naya card, but Red, Blue, Green Fight Club is here to throw down. Use your spells to let your creatures step into the ring and deal out some of that sweet, sweet non-combat damage. Cards like Prince Jordan Hinkleman will bring the pain at regular intervals, while others like Wrestling Mania will make sure you get paid off for your work. As you're drafting, make sure you remember to pick up some beefy creatures and don't get tunnel visioned on the fight effects themselves. Sagas, artifacts, and legendary permanents. A part of our history. White, Black, Green is all about historic cards. Due to the nature of the cube, legendary permanents are going to be extremely common, so if you want to draft this archetype, consider prioritizing enablers like 6th District Tar Guide, or thematic payoffs like Lurgoyf. Then once you're set up, pick whatever exciting powerhouses you come across, like Bophades. Set out to make some legends of your own. Crime is afoot, and we need professionals to sniff it out. White, Red, Blue is here to crack the case. This archetype is about 2 things: detective creatures and case enchantments. And also clue tokens. Okay, 3. This archetype is about 3 things. This is a group of cards that have a lot of synergies. but make sure to keep track of what the cards you draft are asking you. Some detectives want cases, or clues, or other detectives. Picking up whatever detective-themed cards you see might be good enough, but you'll want a more careful eye to really make the deck hum. What do Incubate, Amass, and Poison all have in common? 1, they all use counters, and 2, they're all kinda gross. Black, Blue, Green is ready to get grimy, with tons of incremental growth that will overwhelm your opponents. Cards like Horrid Incubation can create massive creatures that only get bigger with time, while others, like Nibbles and Nickasthun Skosman, can help provide that inevitable reach you might need to close out particularly grindy games. Those are all 10 archetypes in Commander Legends Rise of the Dice Friends. Do you have any early favorites? And remember, this is only a handful of the more clear-cut themes. It is 100% possible to build a deck that bears little resemblance to any of these, and with Dice Friend and the cycle of 4-color legends, there's no guarantee you'll even play the same number of colors. And that brings us to the end of our introduction video. Thank you so much for getting here with me. Let me know in the comments or on Blue Sky if you drafted anything sweet. Best of luck, and may you always draw gas.